Now, when it comes to the real estate consultants, do people now cut corners, especially when showing somebody a property? You're like, oh, it's very good, and then they don't mention the downfall. Who holds the real estate consultants accountable for such things?
There's the real estate regulation board. However, if you're really into building the business and relationships, like you come to me, right? I take you to a place. Anything ever going wrong, you'll be like, Noreen, why did you do this? Why did you facilitate this?
Yeah.
So I believe in building the relationship and knowing that if anything goes wrong, then it will not be on the owner. First, it will be on me who recommended.
Hello and welcome to the Millionaire Mind. My name is Tuji Faye. Now, growing up, we knew that the measure of success comes with owning real estate. It was just drilled into our heads. When you grow up, you get a job, the first thing you do is own land, own something, have something to your name. And I feel like that doesn't resonate as loud as it did for us, as it does to the current generation. Right now, they're just like, I'll just, it's vibes. But there's no other, person to just clarify and tell us, the importance of real estate than an expert in the field. Thank you so much, Noreen, for joining us.
You're welcome.
First of all, introduce yourself and what you do.
I'm Noreen Karemi. I'm a real estate consultant. I've been in the industry for close to 20 years now.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So when you say real estate consultant, what exactly does that mean?
It means that I get to advise potential clients, both buyers, sellers, on the process of acquiring property. I also do property management. So if you acquire, I can still help you to manage the same. And in property management, we have two categories, the rental collection, and we also deal with facilities management, whereby we manage the common areas of sectional properties. Yes.
Okay. So it all sounds, like a big thing, if we're being honest. It sounds very daunting, especially to new clients who have not experienced that before.
It can be stressful, yes.
Exactly. So now how do you navigate those emotions when it comes to dealing with your clients?
At times we have to get to understand the client first, because different clients will react to different situations in a different way.
True.
So at times the types of challenges we get to experience could be delays in viewing, availability of what exactly they are looking for. If they are financed, again, there are delays between the lawyers, the banks, or the back and forth of communication, or in the Ministry of Lands. So it's to be able to encourage them at times to be patient, to wait for the process to be completed, because again, you cannot skip one until you finish one stage, then you get to the next. Yeah, so it takes a lot of patience, managing emotions, and just taking them through what they expect in any of the stages.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. And in recent climates, or rather just, we've heard horror stories of people who wanted to acquire property, or people who were sold property that wasn't actually on sale, but it turned out to be on sale. There's just a lot of horror stories that comes with real estate and property ownership. So when people come to you with such insecurities and such doubts, how do you assure them that, listen, this is what I do, I've been doing it for a hot minute, and you can actually trust me? How do you build that relationship of trust between you and your clients?
First and foremost, most of the clients will come as referrals from other successful transactions. And if it's through adverts, we take them through the steps of what is expected, and we ensure nothing is done without due diligence being done. They're also given the freedom to get to choose their own lawyers who will also assist them in the due diligence, so that before they sign up everything, they are sure it's a legit transaction. Yes.
Okay. So how exactly did you find yourself in this field? Is it something you actually studied for and you knew I want to do real estate from a very young age, or how exactly did you end up in the field?
By accident. I didn't study
Yeah.
real estate. I did public relations, marketing, and advertising. However, after college, I first worked for Everready for a short time. And a friend of mine asked to help with a building in Meru, where I'm born and brought up. And from that, I found myself pursuing real estate. And yeah.
And how has that journey been so far? How has the experience been? And have you seen a change or a shift in the market for this 20 years that you have been in the industry?
Oh yes, it's not been an easy journey. And first I began in employment. For the last 10 years I was employed. Then I began my own in 2011. So back in the day it was very old-fashioned, I would say. Everything is printed.
Yes.
You take adverts to the newspapers, and again, viewings would be physical, face-to-face. But all that has shifted.
Yes.
We do virtual tours. You said people 1 minute video of a property. We find you can do transactions online without even physically having to meet. So it has taken a lot of effort to shift the mindset from where I began to what is happening currently in the markets. Yeah.
So it has just been a learning curve all
Of
through.
course, yes, it is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you said you were in employment before that. So there's a certain safety net when it comes to you being employed, in that, you know, at the end of the month you have your money with you.
Yes.
But now taking a chance on yourself and taking that bold step to start your own company, how was that transition like for you?
I can't say it was a difficult one, because people had encouraged me to go into self-employment.
Yeah.
However, of course, the challenge of not having a paycheck, but it pushes you to work extra hard so that you can be able to pay yourself and now pay the other bills for both your home and your office.
Yeah.
But I can say it's been a worthwhile journey. Yes.
Okay. And you have mentioned that before, you know, back in the day, it was very manual, for lack of a better term. You know, things used to happen in a certain way, and then over time, you know, with technology taking a better hand or becoming better, we've become more reliant on technological means to, you know, sell our business. Has that been an advantage to you, or has it had certain disadvantages?
It's both an advantage and a disadvantage, depending with who are you dealing with. The modern clientele, they want advantage of the technology and the convenience that comes with it.
Yes.
There are some with busy schedules. So instead of taking them out to see 10 properties, you said photos or videos, and they shortlist what they would like to view. However, the older generation still I want to see, because again, they are very cautious. They don't want to just flow with a new trade. So you find you have to go out to the 10 properties, give them time to make up their mind and decisions. So it works both ways. Yeah.
Now, over time, there's been the increased focus for sustainability, especially when it comes to the practices people have. You know, you don't want to cut down trees to create more real estate. So how has your company been taking steps to make sure that this is eco-friendly, our practices are actually not harming the environment, and so forth?
Typically, we are not developers, but we work with developers who also have taken the green space into a serious category. So you find lighting. There's solar lighting. Solar can be used for water heating, water purification systems. So again, there's no waste. What would be wasted can be used to water gardens, so that enhances, and it's also a cost-cutting measure, both sides, for the developer and the potential buyers. So we work with such developers.
Awesome. And now when it comes to first-time clients, there are people who are very reserved, there are people who are okay with just taking a virtual tour and making their decisions. But, you know, for people with jitters, just take us through the first experience with a first-time client. How do you ease them into everything and assure them that all is well?
At times you have to schedule even meetings with the owners, or share even letters authorized to sell the property on behalf of a person. Assure them if they would like to purchase the property, then they'll be introduced to the owners and get all the paperwork. However, all that happens after they have viewed the property and the rights expression of interest. Yes.
Okay.
And also you have to assure them that if they want to see the paperwork to do the searches, from the word go, if the properties are on loans or anything, you let them know, so that along the way there are no surprises, because such people, if you give them surprises along the way, they can
pull
easily
out.
pull out, or they just chicken out completely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. And now, what are some of the mistakes that first-time clients or first-time people, you know, owning property for the first time, what are some of the mistakes that you have often observed?
At times, people will go for what is the most affordable without putting into consideration many other things like the infrastructure, the amenities, convenience, maybe from where you work and where you want to live. And also when it comes to the quality of finishing, the fixtures.
Yes.
So it varies from one person to another, but mostly people will go for
Most
the price,
affordable,
the
yes.
most affordable. But the most affordable in pricing may not be really most affordable in the long run, because it would be affordable in pricing, and after a couple of months you realize, oh, I have to fix this, we have to repair this, so the bill would shoot to, if you had gone to a proper, well-finished property.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And since we're also big on accountability, what are some of the mistakes that, you know, first time, when people coming into the game of real estate for the first time, you have 20 years of experience, so you've mentored a few people, or a few people have been under your wing. What are some of the things you've observed that they've made mistakes about? Or your own experiences?
The excitement of quick money, you know,
Yes.
I want to cut this deal, finish it, get my commission, move to the next. And so at times you forget to do your due diligence. You forget to take into consideration that you're building a brand, or you're building a name. So people will not want to know the owners. At times you use the cleaners or the caretakers or the watchmen to know, oh, is there a house for sale here? Then you go put that property up for sale. You have no contact with the owner, right? You get a client, they go view, and they like the property. And so by the time you get into the owner, first you'll be asked who will give you the instructions.
Yes.
Or you'll be like, you want not to cut a deal for commission from the one buying, yet you should earn from the one selling. So one thing that I really look out for is to make sure I'm dealing directly with an owner. If I have to partner with an agent, I have to make sure again they have instructions from the owner. So that is a big mess that happens most of the time. And you can also be given wrong information by the cleaners or the guards, because they're not the owners of the property. Yeah. Sometimes you get even the wrong pricing. Someone wants 10 million, you told it's 5 million, or vice versa. So yeah.
Okay. And what are some of the areas of growth that are needed in the industry so far? Because I feel like there's so much I feel like there's a boom of real estate happening right now, especially in Kilimani area, Lavington, just, you know, in Nairobi. Do you think it's a good idea, or are we turning the suburbs into just an ordinary thing?
Yeah, I feel like if you drive through Kilimani, Kileleshwa, and you've lived there before or experienced back in the years, you will feel pain.
Yes.
Because we've lost the trees, the beauty, it's just concrete.
Yeah.
So I think people should be more considerate of maintaining the green, and I call it a drive for profits.
Yes.
We can also minimize on that, just to make sure if someone is investing a couple of millions, then give them a place they'll be happy.
Yes.
Not just for themselves, and for the generations to come. Yes.
Okay. And do you think developers ever have that in mind? You have mentioned the drive for profits. Do you think at any point developers will feel, oh, my morality is asking me to just consider? Or now, do you feel like there's need for now the government to come in and just kind of limit what people are doing currently?
Yeah, I think regulation would be the most ideal way to go.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, everyone is there to make the money, right? So, but there's a need for regulation. Yes, like, because we've lost the beauty in Kilimani,
Yes.
Kileleshwa.
Yeah.
It's skyscrapers all over.
The suburbs are there no more.
They're not there anymore. Yeah.
And now that comes now with the addition, with the impact on all of that on the environment. We have seen cases of flooding.
Yes.
There's this thing where people are actually looking for real estate when it's, you know, during flood season, so that they know, you know, when to buy property. Now, when it comes to the real estate consultants, do people now cut corners, especially when showing somebody a property? You're like, oh, it's very good, and then they don't mention the downfall. Who holds the real estate consultants accountable for such things?
There's a real estate regulation board. However, if you're really into building the business and relationships, like you come to me, right? I take you to a place. Anything ever going wrong, you'll be like, Noreen, why did you do this? Why did you facilitate this?
Yeah.
So I believe in building the relationship and knowing that if anything goes wrong, then it will not be on the owner. First, it will be on me who recommended. So, and that's how we work, to make sure that whatever we recommend to a person, we know the downfall and the good side, and you share every information, so that if a person makes a decision, it's from a well-informed place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, what has been your experience as a woman, specifically as a woman in this real estate consultancy, you know, business for all of 20 years?
It's not been easy. Again, when we began, it was a male-dominated industry. And I remember going up for meetings, and someone would be like, are you with your boss, or are you waiting for your boss? Yeah. And you have to be like, no, I'm the person coming in for this meeting. But over time, again, the space has opened up and it's been accommodative. So it's just been sure of who are you interacting with, who are you dealing with, and what are you studying out for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And where do you see the real estate, you know, business in 5 to 10 years? We've already seen the impact of the boom that's happening right now in Nairobi. But where do you see just real estate maybe as a career or as an avenue to make revenue in 5 to 10 years?
There's a lot of room for growth, but I think we need to think outside the city, because there are many other places, the counties, the metropolitan cities. We've seen growth in places like Ruiru, Juja, Syokimau, with the expressway. So a lot is yet to happen. And I keep on telling people talk of the bubble in Kenya, but it really doesn't happen because of the other African neighbors who also still come in and invest in our country. So I feel like the market is not just controlled by local investors. We also have a lot of foreign influence that dictates. And if you take a drive, you'll see it's growth everywhere. Yes.
Okay. But before we you know, wind up this show, there's the issue of the Airbnbs. How has that experience been for you? Because initially when it came up, we were like, oh, it's such a good idea, you know? Hotels are so expensive, Airbnbs are so much cheaper and so much better. I feel like I'm at home. But now, over time, we're looking back and we're thinking, maybe it wasn't such a good idea. But that's now us, the consumers. How has that been on your end?
I tell people experience. We never used to call it Airbnb. We used to call them furnished apartments, and I've done that for those over 20 years. And we would do them for expatriates and multinationals who would take up the space, but they would be in charge of who is moving into the space. So they would put their staff members. Now, with the Airbnbs, there's no proper regulation. There's no proper control of who is moving in, the time frame, and so you feel that it has become like, it's not even a short-term rental anymore. Yeah. So personally, it's a space I feel that we've well managed. It's a good source of income. However, right now, the way it is happening, a lot has to be done again to just make sure that it's done in the right way. Yes.
Okay. And are there any emerging markets that we should look out for, especially now, the people watching? Are there areas that we should be looking out for, apart from the, the small bubble in Nairobi? What more should we, expand our sights on?
Places like Machakos are coming up, Kajiado County as well. It's becoming an agri-business setup whereby people go there to farm, and people are putting up now homes because of the threat of the foreign influx of people other than the local community. I've seen the same in Nakuru, Naivasha, so the outskirts of the city. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, how does inflation now affect what you're doing? Because I feel like sometimes when you're dealing with a client, they are, especially when it comes to currency, they are multiplying by 100, and it's now at 150. So now everything becomes like, are you scamming me? What is happening?
Yeah.
So how is the state of the economy affecting how you're running business right now?
Of course, there's a bit of slowness in the same and cost-cutting measures. But the inflation is a global thing. So anyone investing, they expect the high interest rates, the high exchange rates, but it's a 50-50 situation. But even the owners now are looking down at reducing the prices, and the ones also buying willing to put into consideration all the new things that have come in. There's a capital gain, there's a stamp duty, there's a lot of taxation that has affected how things used to operate. So though the market has slowed down, they still demand. Yes.
Okay. And what are some of the properties that there's growth in that area, and what are some of the properties that are slowly declining and less appealing to the market right now?
Where there's been a lot of growth and we never saw this coming is the studios. They used to be called bed sitters, now they're studios. And there's a lot of growth and people are developing them again for furnished and for profit, but yes. The decline, I think it has been in the bigger units, 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms. People have really been downsizing. However, the 3 and 2 and 1, still there's demand. Yes.
Okay. So there's still hope for you millennials who, when you are growing up, you are drilled into your head, when you get money, unaangusha apartments. But how has that actually, do you feel it has affected how people think when it comes to property, the upbringing? Because I feel like a huge number of us grew up in such scenarios where we were told the only safe investment option is building property and letting it make money for you. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And you realize every parent will be like, okay, now you're working. Sorry, what are you doing?
Yes, what are you doing?
Where is that plot?
Your uncle has a shamba somewhere he's selling.
Exactly. So our parents dictated a lot how we get to invest and when and all that. And there's still hope for everyone. And you don't have to put up a block of flats. You can buy, the plots that people talk about. You can buy, subdivide, sell, and get a home for yourself or develop bungalows. So there are many ways of going round about it. And I feel anyone wishing or willing to do it, there's a way out. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have talked about the plots for sale. I think anytime you get on TV, there's always an advertisement about those, plots for sale somewhere.
Yes.
But at the same time, there are brokers. And while some think it's a good idea, how has your experience been with brokers, especially when it comes to selling land and acquiring properties?
At times not easy, and I feel like, I'm having to deal with a broker who is putting me. So at times you find straightforward ones, at times you find ones who want to play your game, so even some are charging for viewing, and you're like, no, it shouldn't be this way, and they're like, mama, kama unataka kuona hiyo shamba, lazima ulipe hiyo thao, So we get to adjust, but what I would say is just learn to look for legit companies, many have come up that are actually buying and subdividing and giving all the paperwork. Yeah.
Okay. So as we wind up, what is your parting shot? What would you like to say to somebody who's watching right now, unsure of if they're going to get property or if they're just going to YOLO and live once with their money?
No, it's very important to invest. Again, as I said, it's not just for us, even generations to come.
Yes.
And what we show them, that's what they'll take up after us. Do not give up because of the economic times. There's still an option that one can be able to invest and do it in an affordable manner. And we also have an off-plan property coming up in Lavington. Its townhouse is 10 units. So for those homeowners looking for such townhouses, the 5 bedrooms, that is available. Again, we also deal with people looking for the plots. Anything that you're looking for, we give an ear, we listen, and we guide and we walk the journey with you.
Okay.
So all I would say, it's possible to do it.
Awesome.
Believe in yourself.
And where can people find you? Are you on social media? Do you have a physical location?
Our offices are in Westlands. We're in Divan Plaza. We are working on our social media handles. Like I said, I've been very traditional. I'm crossing over to the modern. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for anything, we are there. My name is Noreen Karemi, and our company is Nested Properties Limited. Okay, Nested Properties at Rivan Plaza in Westlands. So if you're looking to acquire property or just somebody to hear you out, you know, and to give you guidance, Noreen will be there for you. I hope you've learned something. I hope we've made it less overwhelming, the whole property, the whole process of acquiring property and managing property. My name is Turife, and until next week, goodbye.